Hi, I'm Brian, and welcome to my podcast. If you're looking for something to listen to or someone to keep you company, you have come to the right place. Let's talk about anything and everything under the sun here on How to Be Brian. Hi there, listeners. This is your homeboy Brian, and welcome to How to Be Brian, the podcast. This is the reflections and musings of a young adult on a pursuit to educate and live purposefully. If you're new here, then please do not forget to subscribe. But if you're an old subscriber or follower, then welcome. We meet again. This episode is a continuation of the previous one. If you haven't listened to the first part yet, the link to that episode is on the description box. But if you have, then please keep on listening.
So I'm going to combine the next couple of tips number 11 and 12, because I think they are very much similar. And they talk about meeting with each professor of your classes during office hours at least once a semester, and meeting with your academic advisor at least twice each semester. So, what these tips simply imply or simply instruct for you to do is to meet with your professors and your academic advisors when necessary. So, one more thing that you have to consider is your professor's schedule. So, it's not like back in high school wherein you can just barge in the faculty room and talk to your teacher and address a certain issue or ask about a certain concern. In college, your professors are extremely busy and you have to be mindful of their schedule. And the good part about this is that usually during the first few meetings in class, your professors will inform you of their consultation hours. I don't know if there are other terms for consultation hours, but at least during my time, that is the term that we used, consultation hours. So meeting with professors do not necessarily mean that you're asking for, let's say, a deadline extension or a consideration for a project. Meeting with your professors or your academic advisors can mean a lot of things. You can do that to seek help from them in understanding a certain lesson. You can also do that to submit a paper, or even as basic as asking a question. It can also be for discussing possible projects or research activities. And who knows, maybe your professors can guide you on your future career paths. On the other hand, it may also be beneficial for you to talk to your academic advisor or to the heads of your department. You can go to the chairperson of your department if you want advice on which classes to take, which extracurricular activities to take advantage of, or how to approach a certain subject. Which leads us to the next tip, which says actively participate in at least one organized extracurricular activity. This is also something that I wished I learned early on in my college life, because entering college, I instilled it in my head that I should focus on my studies more than anything. Because back in high school, I was always a busy student. At one point, I was a member of our school's version of the student government or student council. And so I was really busy planning activities, joining activities, participating in competitions, working on projects, and just being an all-around student. And you know, in high school, it's so fun to be that kind of student. But I was still trying to assess college. I was still trying to get the grasp of it. So I did not necessarily chase after extracurricular activities right at the start. It took me a couple of months before I did. Because in my head, I was thinking, I've had enough of all the busyness and the stress and the fatigue brought about by extracurricular activities back in high school. So my college life will be a different story. But little did I know that several opportunities would open up for me. These extracurricular activities came in the form of joining quiz bees and representing my section, joining a pageant and representing an organization of our choice, being a volunteer teacher for our school's alternative learning system program, joining several organizations during my college life, and even representing my university in a national competition. Those are some of the most memorable extracurricular activities that I have had during my college life. But mind you, there are also other activities that you can try and participate in. So if you want to participate in sports related activities, you have to utilize your time during the school intramurals. If you want to be a student leader and serve your fellow students, that too is a possibility. Joining organizations and groups will not only help you to hone your skills and your craft, but they can also help you develop your social skills and your personality. So my advice to you is to not hesitate and just go after extracurricular activities when you feel like it. As they say, there is no harm in trying. Tip number 14 says, give each student, regardless of whether you seem to have much in common with that person, the benefit of the doubt. College is a time in your life when you will be exposed to different people with different kinds of backgrounds, different upbringings, different cultures, and even different beliefs. But just because you don't have anything in common with them doesn't mean that you should not interact with them or be friends with them. Just like what this step says, you should give them the benefit of the doubt and always assume positive intent from them. So when they do something to you, or if they're extra nice to you, or if they're very friendly to you, do not give malice to that. Maybe they just want to be friends with you even if you don't have anything in common. Maybe they are just interested in you. Maybe you fascinate them and they find you impressive. So be open to interact with anyone regardless of beliefs, religion, cultural background, or even place of origin. As they say, there is beauty in diversity, and college is a time when you will encounter diversified individuals. The next tip reminds students to seek help before problems emerge. Your college life will be a wild ride, and it will also be filled with undulations of highs and lows, leaps and bounds, and everything in between. But as much as you have to be independent, you also need to have a wisdom when to ask for help. So, help may come from your parents or your loved ones. It may also come from your professors or your academic advisors. You may also have a circle of friends to help you with a certain problem, your college roommates, if you're staying in a dormitory, or your romantic partner. College is a wonderful experience in itself, but it will not be perfect. With regards to mental health problems, I know it's still a bit of a sensitive topic even during this time, but to be completely honest about it, the university has resources and has counseling programs for its students. If it just happens that your university has that kind of service or has available resources for mental health support, then take advantage of those resources. I remember during my time, we had the mandatory interviews mandated by the Student Wellness Center. And basically, those interviews are just about our lives as college students. So they ask us about how we deal with academic problems, if we do have problems, how we handle stress, and how we cope with the pressure of transitioning from one year level into another, how smoothly we handle expectations from our professors and from the university that we are in, and how we see ourselves moving forward from that point. There are also other interviews that are done for a specific purpose. I remember we also had that interview before formally finishing school. And those are just examples of how the university can offer help to its students who are dealing with problems. So do not be afraid to seek help and seek professional help when necessary before your problems even worsen. The next tip is don't be afraid to drop a class. I don't know if I will consider this a tip because this is something that I haven't personally done and I haven't encountered during the duration of my college life. But if push comes to shove and you don't have an option, let's say the class is just not working out. Let's say you're not learning anything from that subject. You don't have a nice rapport with your professor. If it's too stressful and your overall academic load feels too much to handle, then you may consider dropping a class. But again, this is something that I haven't encountered or experienced as a student. Perhaps it is because I was able to follow and adhere to the policies and procedures of all of the classes or almost all of the classes that I took up when I was in college. And maybe it's also because I had good rapport with my professors and I understood where they were coming from when we encounter certain difficulties. And also because I was able to connect with majority of my classmates in general back in college. Yes, there were classes that were overly stressful, but I believe in the power of perseverance. And I also believe that my course load every semester just equates to the right amount of challenge and stress that I can endure for that given period of time. So you can consider me blessed because I wasn't able to drop a class and I was able to graduate as a regular student. I didn't fail in any subjects. I also did not take summer classes and I graduated strictly following my curriculum and the prescribed subjects for each semester. But again, this is something that students might encounter. So in case you are put in this position where you need to explore your options, drop a class for you to focus more on yourself and on your academics, then you can consider dropping a class or two during your time in college. But also a reminder, you need to be careful in making such decisions because in college, most subjects have a prerequisite or a co-requisite that before you get to take the succeeding subjects, you need to fulfill or complete the prerequisite or take the co-requisite at the same time. So you need to be mindful of the policies of every course. And also in college, summer classes are used not just for back subjects, but for students who wanted to take some of their units in advance. Although the policies in taking subjects in advance are different per college, I know of some people who have done it. Just so when the proper semester begins, they will not be as overloaded as they should be. Tip number 17 is stay healthy. I know you have heard of the cliche health is wealth, but the stress in college can take a toll not just on your mental health but also on your physical health. So if there's something that you should do, it is to prioritize your health more than anything. You have to remember that you cannot be a good student, you cannot be a good group mate, you cannot be a good student leader, you cannot be a good member of an organization if you are not healthy physically. So for you to maximize your energy, your productivity, and your skills, do not neglect your health. Even something as simple as drinking more water than coffee or than alcoholic beverages can do something to help you improve your physical health. Tip number 18, stay well connected with your family. Yes, you may have your friends, your colleagues, and your peers, and if you're lucky, some of your professors as your support system, but nothing beats the support that your family can give you. Stay in touch and connected with your family for everything, whether it's academic concerns or concerns with your personal life, or even financial and adulting problems. I'm sure that your family members will give you the kind of support that you need. Moving on to the next one. Take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. In college, you might not just be a student. You can be a student leader, a student volunteer, a student assistant, and other roles that you can take advantage of as a student. So some of these opportunities may come in the form of being an officer in an organization or a performing arts group. You might be asked to attend conferences outside of the university. You might also be an exchange student. And there are so much more possibilities and opportunities that will open for you as a student. All you have to do is to take the right ones when they are presented to you. It's better to try and suck at it or fail at it than to not try at all and completely ignore that opportunity. One of the most important opportunities that I took back in college was the chance for me to be a teaching intern abroad. And I consider it as one of the highlights of my college life. But to be honest with you, I wasn't willing to take that opportunity in the beginning because it's not something that I wanted. But I realized that the experience and the knowledge that I can gain from that opportunity will definitely help me when I embark on my career. And true enough, that experience changed my way of thinking in the sense that I became more accepting of other people's cultures, beliefs, and personality. And sometimes I would think, what would happen to me if I did not take that opportunity? Would I be a different person? Would I have a different skill set? What other opportunity would come to me if I let go of that one? But I am so glad that I took that leap and went out of my comfort zone because in that pursuit, I was challenged, I was stretched, and I was put in a position where I can learn, develop, and collect experiences that shape me into who I am today. So I encourage you to take as much and as many opportunities as you can. Again, there is no harm in trying. And you'd rather step out of your comfort zone and suck at it at the start than have the regret of not trying at all. Tip number 20. Cultivate friendships with a small group of others with whom you connect well. You don't need to be friends with everyone, but as much as possible, try to be in good terms, especially the people you go to the same class with. How important is it? Simply because your professors may put you in different groups wherein the members come from different set of friendships or different circles. And so you need to be agile and be able to adapt wherever you are and whoever you are with. It is important for you to have your own circle of friends, but do not forget to stay in touch with other people outside your group. Those connections will help you stay afloat, will help you stay informed, and they can even be your friends. I am so happy that I got to develop friendships with other people outside of my college circle because until now, I can still speak to them sometimes online. I can still ask them for help on small matters and exchange pleasantries with them from time to time. And that also leads us to the next tip, which says realize that every person you meet in college has something to offer you. It might overwhelm you how big your circle will be or your environment will be when you enter college, but you will be surprised how small your world can be. And when I say your world will be small, it is because you might encounter the same people on different occasions. Meaning, some people who you go to class with can also be in the same organization, or other people from other classes or other organizations can collaborate with you, or you might even bump into the same individuals in the various extracurricular activities that you will be participating in. So it is important to show respect to everyone, to be kind and compassionate to the people that you meet, and acknowledge the fact that you can learn different things from the different individuals that you encounter. Random people can challenge you, they can teach you things that you don't know before, and they can also help you grow. And that's what it means to be a student. To be a student not just of the curriculum, but be a student of your environment. And the last tip, on this list says, think of your education as giving you skills that will help you make a positive mark on this world. Unless you plan on going back to school after finishing your degree, your college life might be the last chapter of your life as a regular student. With that being said, it will be your training ground, and it will not just help you develop your skills and hone your craft, it also has the possibility to refine your character, to develop your values and your virtues, and shape your mindset, who you are as a student, and how you prioritize your studies and how you handle the things that you do dictate the kind of person you will be in this world. And it will also dictate what kind of citizen you will be in your own country. And when you step out of the university, you will bring all of those experiences, all of those memories, and the wisdom that you have gained into your future role and responsibilities in the world. The time you spend burning midnight candles, reviewing for your exams, and finishing your projects and outputs will not be in vain. Those are not wasted sacrifices. When you go out into the real world, you will bring all of them to make a positive mark on this world. And by positive mark, we don't mean for you to take responsibility in changing the world, but in doing things that can affect other people and the society in general for good. And those are the tips from this article that you can apply as you enter college. To all incoming college students, I welcome you to the new chapter of your life. Be open to as many experiences. Be open to as many possibilities and opportunities as you can. Be willing to learn and be accepting of other people, and be ready for the things that you might experience. Both the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, the leaps and the bounds of college life. And when you play it good and right, it will be the best chapter of your life. There are a lot of other personal anecdotes and tips that I would like to share, but I think we can reserve them for a special episode. So to those of you who have any question or anything that you need help with in relation to this topic, feel free to just message me. But that's it for this episode, and I wish you all the best on this upcoming school year and in the next few years to come.
That's it for this episode of How to Be Brian, the podcast. If you like to continue the conversation, please do not forget to subscribe and follow me on my social media accounts. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Paalam!